Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on similar triangles and dimensional analysis. So this will serve as a review for our test where you're going to have to convert between units. You're going to have to use the metric loop chart and also some dimensional analysis. So this is very similar to the lab we did outside where we took a coin and we tried to cover a mountaintop and use similar triangles and ratios to figure out the height of the mountain, or we can call it the diameter of the mountain. All right, so a couple things here. First of all, we have to set up our ratio of our triangles. So I'm going to call this the small triangle right here from the coin to the eye. And we've got some information here. The diameter of the coin I'm given is 27 millimeters. And the coin to the eye is 18 centimeters. So I'll put this up here. So coin to eye, 18 centimeters. So this is part of our small triangle right here, okay? And then we're going to have a larger triangle. I'll do this in red here. And that's going to be the coin to the mountain. It's not the best triangle, but you get the idea, okay? And we're going to call this the height of the mountain, or the diameter of the mountain. It's really the height here. And that's what we're going to be looking for. And let's say we want to give our final answer, or our height of our mountain, in kilometers and miles. We'll have two answers, one in kilometers and then another one in miles. So first of all, to do that, we need to set up our ratio. So I'm going to do the small triangle first. And the main thing is you want to be consistent with your numerator and your denominator. Okay? And then this will be our large triangle. So in our small triangle, if I put the diameter of the coin in the numerator, DIA of coin, then the coin to the eye is going to be in the denominator. So coin to eye. Okay, and then looking at the larger triangle, I got to be consistent. So this is the diameter of the mountain, or the height of the mountain. We'll call it diameter of the mountain and just make it h for our unknown. DIA of the mountain, which is our height. And then the other one is going to be the eye to the mountain, or the coin to the mountain. That little bit of difference doesn't really matter when your mountain's 25 miles away. Okay, so we're going to call that eye to mountain. Okay, so we're consistent. We got diameter here, distance there, distance there. And the next thing is very important. When you put in the numbers into this ratio and we try to solve for this is our unknown. I'm just going to call that h. Okay, all of the units must match. So I'm going to pick centimeters. I could pick any unit I want to put them in as long as they're all consistent. That's what matters here. But we're going to have to use a loop chart on some of these. So the diameter of the coin, I can't just put in 27 there and 18 there because one's in millimeters, the other's in centimeters. So let's put the diameter of the coin in centimeters. So here's our loop chart. Millimeter to centimeter is one loop to the left. So if I want to change that to centimeter, okay, let's get rid of this here. Right now it's in millimeter. If I want to go to centimeter, it's one loop to the left. Bingo. And now it's in centimeter, 2.7 centimeters. So if I redraw my fraction here, the diameter of the coin is 2.7 centimeters. And the coin to the eye is already in centimeters, so we'll just leave it like that. Okay? The diameter or the height of the mountain is what we're looking for. So we're going to call that h. And the eye to the mountain, we got a problem here. I'm giving you this distance to the mountain in miles, but you got to put that in centimeters. So that's going to take some work here. So first thing, you cannot go from miles to centimeters on the loop chart because this is the English unit and you need to get it in the metric unit. So we got to use dimensional analysis. So here's our conversion factor that will be given to you. You'll have a whole table of all the conversion factors. So there's our conversion factor. So let's set up a, some people call it a picket fence, dimensional analysis, whatever you want to call it, 25 miles. And some people put it over 1. I just write it like that. And I set up my ratio to know that my units cancel out diagonally. So I got mile on top. I'm going to put this over 1 just so to kind of help you keep it organized here. Let me level this out so it's a little easier to follow. Okay, and back to where we were here. Okay, so I pick my ratio so that miles cancels out and I want to get into kilometers. So I'm going to put 1 mile on the bottom and 1.61 kilometer on top. Okay, cross out my units diagonally. Now it's going to be 25 times 1.61. And when you multiply that, you get 40.25 kilometers. Okay, I'm almost there. I can't put kilometer in here because those are in centimeters. I can't cross multiply a centimeter times a kilometer. That doesn't make sense. So now loop chart to the rescue here. You're going to go from kilometer to centimeters. So how many loops over is that going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops over. So here's my decimal. So I'm going to have to move that decimal over 5 loops to the right because that's the way I went on the loop chart. It's very important you draw the loop chart that way so the way you actually move it makes sense. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So fill it in with zeros and bingo, there's my answer in centimeters. Don't leave it with the loops in there. Okay, so when we put that number in there, it's going to be 4,025,000 centimeters. Okay, so there's that number just redrawn there. Okay, now I can cross multiply and solve for 8. So that's going to be a really big number. Okay, so when I cross multiply 4,025,000 by 2.7, I'm going to get this really large number. Let me switch colors here so we're doing the math. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. So when I cross multiply that by that, I'm going to get 10,867,500. We're not going to worry about all the digits and significant figures. We'll deal with that later. Okay, when I cross multiply that, I'm just going to get 18H. Now I probably should put in the units here. That's going to be centimeters squared, and that's going to be centimeters. When I divide out, my final answer is going to be in centimeters, okay? I'm focusing more on the dimensional analysis and the similar triangle here. Okay, the units all come out to be centimeters in the end. So, got a little bit of algebra here. 18 times h equals that. The opposite of times is divide. So we all know divide both sides by 18, divide by 18, and I will have my height in centimeters. So that height comes out to be a really large number here. So 603750. Okay, so it's 603,750 centimeters. Okay, that's a ridiculous answer. Nobody gives a height of a mountain in centimeters. We want it in kilometers. Okay, so centimeter to kilometer is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops over to the left. Okay, so here's my decimal at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bingo, there's my final answer. So height is 6. You don't need all those other digits. You can say 6.0. Now it's in kilometer. Okay, so that's a nice way to put the answer. So that mountain is 6 kilometers high. Suppose we want it in miles. Here's our conversion. 1 mile is 1.61 kilometer. So we could say, let me write it down here, 6 kilometers, 6.0 kilometers. I'm going to put it over 1. And I'm going to say 1 mile on top is 1.61 kilometer on the bottom, so that when I multiply, I can cross out the units. So that's going to be 6 times 1 divided by 1.61, and I get about 3.7 miles, which is a pretty tall mountain. That's close to 20,000 feet, something you might see in the Andes there. Okay, so I hope that helps. Once again, this is a really good problem because it involves metric conversions. Make sure you put that loop chart to memory. It involves dimensional analysis. It involves setting up a ratio. And the most important thing from this, it requires you to put all of the units in this little table here into the same units. So all the units must match, is what I'm trying to say here. So I picked centimeter, but you could put everything in as kilometer and you'd still get the same answer, okay? The main thing is that you're consistent and the units match. And I hope that helps. Watch this a few times till you have it down and it becomes second nature, and have a great day.